Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of Hacksaw Ridge. This is another instance where I have to judge the person and the media separately, or at least test the waters to see if that's a possibility for me. And I think ultimately it is a possibility for me to understand that I don't like someone as a person, but objectively their work is really good quality. And that's kind of where I am with all of Mel Gibson's films. Because let's be honest, Mel Gibson is not a very good person, or at least he hasn't shown to be. And we never really got a lot of remorse. He hasn't come out and really shown that he's changed at all. So as far as I'm concerned, he still believes those horrible things that he said way back when. And so, to be honest, I'm very happy I was able to see this at a pre-screening. It did not have to pay, because it allows me to see the film and critique the film without feeling like I have just supported someone who I don't really want to support financially. And in the end, Hacksaw Ridge is objectively a very good film. I actually thought it was exceptional pretty much across the board. So starting with the acting performances, I think that Andrew Garfield was wonderful. I think Andrew Garfield is pretty much wonderful in everything he does and continues to go kind of unappreciated in Hollywood. Give this guy some more roles, please. He was so good. I also thought Hugo Weaving was really, really good. He showed so many layers to this character. I wish we would have just been able to have more time with him. Sam Worthington was good, and the rest of our supporting cast were all good, with one miscasting that I'll talk about in the negatives. But otherwise, acting, definitely a plus. As for that infamous director, Mel Gibson, what can you say? The film was directed beautifully. The cinematography is so gorgeous in this movie. The shot selections were wonderful, and Mel Gibson did such a great job of depicting the horrors of war, which we already know he can do from things like Braveheart and Passion of the Christ. He is really good at just showing the gruesome truths of what's happening, and wow, were those war scenes gruesome. So I have to warn you, if you're squeamish, the war scenes get pretty hard to watch. But that all just adds to the overall atmosphere and adds to the emotional payoff we get when we come to a conclusion of this particular story. I also thought that the little vignettes of the actual people were really well done here. We see that a lot in these kind of true stories, but Mel Gibson did it very, very well. It was just endearing to hear the people talk and, of course, use some of the phrases we just heard in the film, as well as getting to read up on some of their stories and how their lives played out after the film concluded. I will say, going in, I actually didn't realize how religious of a film this was going to be, but I think it was done very, very well. So if you are a religious audience member, I think you're actually going to really, really like this film. It has a very strong conviction and something very strong to say, but I think the bigger message dealing with the religion is not only sticking by what you believe and having conviction, but not persecuting someone based on their beliefs. And I think that can apply any which way, no matter how they believe, not discounting them and discounting their worth just because their belief is different than your own. And that is a big takeaway, I think, from this film, and a great takeaway from this film that everybody across the board from all religions can get on board with. Plus, it's just a really uplifting, heartwarming story. This is a different kind of war movie than I think has ever been made in Hollywood. This is a kind of story that you don't really hear about when we hear about World War II or any of the other wars, about a war hero who refuses to even touch a gun. Will not kill anyone, will not even hurt anyone in the war, just there to help save his fellow soldiers. And even the soldiers from the opposing side in some cases. It was just an amazing thing to watch. It made you feel great. And just period, don't judge a book by its cover. So moving on to the negatives of the film, there are a few. First off, I'm going to start with that miscast, and I have to say I really think Vince Vaughn was miscast in the role. He plays the part with the comedy well, of course, and he has some very nice lines. Overall, he does okay, as best as I could expect Vince Vaughn to do in this type of role. I couldn't get over I'm looking at Vince Vaughn. He never really immersed me into his character and immersed me into the movie. It was just Vince Vaughn in this setting. So I think he was miscast. I think we could have gotten someone who kind of disappeared into the role better and was able to really play the hard-ass part of the sergeant better than Vince Vaughn did. I also think the movie really tries to send the message of where this kid is coming from in his life with the opening and then with a couple of little flashbacks or like dream sequences throughout. But they're so sparse and we're not able to see the full picture. We're not able to spend enough time in that full picture and get the full gravity of it all that it never really hits home. So he's so strong in these convictions, but there's a backstory to it. There's a reason why he's made these choices and that he's been led down the path he's at now. But the movie, I don't think, really did a good enough job of immersing the audience in how he felt, in the feelings that pushed him toward his new life choices. Instead, it all kind of seemed like one day, a tragic event happens and he looks at a poster that has the commandments on it and decides it's time to follow these commandments based on what just happened. But you could really sense there was so much more to the story. I think you're going into this war film, you kind of expect it to be a little bit long, so I wish the film had actually stretched that part of the story out more and given us more of that. Also, the love story kind of felt inconsequential here. I know it, again, had purpose. It was part of his motivation through war, which was fine. But there's just not enough time to really develop the love story. I think you still got the connection. And I think the two actors did a good enough job with the connection. Just the writing of the love story seemed a little bit skim. So when my negatives are that I just kind of wish we had more time in the film and the film was longer, you know it was a good movie. I think Hacksaw Ridge is a movie for everyone. Don't let the religious overtones turn you off to the film because it is a film that I think anybody can connect to. Don't let the war subject turn you off from the film because it's a war movie and it has those, war scenes that you come to expect that are a little bit gory and graphic, but it's a war film like we've never seen before. It really has a different message than other war films that I think is really fantastic. So I really think Hacksaw Ridge deserves a full price ticket. So that has been my review of Hacksaw Ridge. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on our latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Hacksaw Ridge? And what is your favorite war film? Let me know either in the comment section down below or hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!